Hi everyone.
Hello.
Welcome welcome to the premiere episode of Tita Talks with Tita Cathy. That's me and
Tita Chary, that's me. Hello.
okay.
Hi everyone.
Hi
Thank you
everybody.
for thank you for for watching our first episode.
Yes, so Chari, let's begin by telling them why we decided to put up this show.
Sige,
Sige.
you first. You first. Kasi
Ako
this is
first.
your idea.
Okay. Okay. No, we both put our heads in it.
Yes, yeah,
Diba?
that's true. Yes.
So Chari and I have been friends since we were in the sixth grade. So mga around 11 years old.
That's right.
So that's how long we've been friends, Chari, right?
Wow.
And then nag-reconnect kami. We reconnected, right? A few years back. Yeah, a few years
That's true.
back. Yeah, and since then, we've been doing all sorts of things. We've been having dinner out. We've been meeting with friends. We've been doing all sorts of projects. So, ngayong pandemic, we thought, oh, why don't we put up a show on YouTube, diba, that addresses the concerns of women of our age or women of a certain age. So, siguro mga a certain age, ano ba, Chari? 40 pataas o 45? 45,
Oh, mga ganon.
diba?
Oo. Humahagip sa 40 and above, and walang limit yan.
Oo, 40 pataas, di ba? Kasi
Oo.
there aren't really many programs, di ba, that address yung mga concerns, issues of women of a certain age. But
Yes.
we're not just addressing, di ba, women of a certain age kasi we also want to reach out to the younger people. And Chari has like a brilliant idea on how we can do that. O sige, Chari, ikaw na magtuloy ng kwento.
Yes, thank you, Cathy. Well, doing this program is really something that, I think is very timely. Not only are people going through a lot of things right now, but people have the time. Actually, they have the time to listen. They have the time to explore. Dati kasi we're so busy with, di ba, Cathy, no? Parang before we had, we it's only the extra time that we have that we devote to watching these programs, but now people are really looking out for things to watch. And I think there might be shows like this from the States, pero iba yung ano natin iba yung mga situations natin.
Correct.
Kaya maganda talagang we put our heads together and we said, sige, tara, let's try it. So as Cathy was saying, we were thinking, how can we reach out to people directly? People like you watching us. Because we want this to be very personal. Taga namin inisip should we do a podcast? Should we do this? Should we do that? And we just wanted something that the Filipinos really like. And what is this? Filipinos like to ask for advice. They like to write letters. Diba, no? Kahit na in the modern day, parang nagte-text ka, uy, anong gagawin ko? O tara, kain tayo, inom tayo, chika naman tayo. So, that's why we're doing this. We're putting all of these elements into one program. Sana you'll enjoy it. We have a letter writing portion, which since time, since the early 1930s, ganyan, there have been programs already here in the Philippines, sila Chadeli, that already address this, programs that address this concern, this interest in wanting to get advices from people who have the wisdom. Supposedly may wisdom kami ni Cathy. But we will also be asking help, at some point with resource persons, ganyan. Para mga tita nyo lang kami.
Correct. Everybody's tita. Yeah. I-mention mo yung di ba, Chari, yung mga letter writing. Nung panahon natin, di ba, ang pinakasikat Loving Yours, Helen, right? Nung time natin, di ba?
Yun talaga yung sikat. We would really wait for that. Pag Sunday, 2 o'clock.
Yes.
Hintay na tayong lahat. And speaking of letters, Cathy, Diba?
Yeah,
Nung mga grade school, high school tayo, yan talaga yung means of communication. Diba? Ng
exactly.
mga magkakaibigan, ng mga nagliligawan, yung pagsusulat
Mhm.
ng letters.
Correct. The lost art of letter writing, 'di ba?
Oo.
Nowadays, 'di ba, it's so precious if nakaka-receive ka ng yung handwritten letter, 'di ba? Or yung card, 'di ba? Parang
Oo.
ano na rin eh, lost art na rin siya eh, but it's a good thing to bring back, no? Although I'm
Oo.
guilty of that minsan,
Totoo.
parang, I could write something longer, but alam mo na, pero now, itong pandemic na to is a good time to bring back that lost art of letter writing, di ba, Chari?
Oh, that's true. Alam mo, siguro we should have an episodes where we will read old letters written to us. What do you think, Cathy?
Oh,
Hanap
yes,
tayo.
yes,
Oo, iba
yeah,
kasi,
yeah,
iba yung nagsusulat ng letters. Maganda yung sinabi mo, the pandemic is a good time to start writing again. Whether
right,
it be in letters, syempre iba ngayon gusto na nila email, or
yes,
some people have journals. Basta
right,
sumulat kayo. Si Cathy here, of course, is not new to you anymore, no? Because she's the one who has been, has been very popular. She has been very visible in different kinds of media. And I think, it was through her writing that she was able to reach out to so many people, to so much, to the younger generation, to the older generation. She has written books.
writing is very, yeah, right, thank you, Chari, parang pressure naman ako dun. So, writing is very therapeutic, right? And you yourself, you write so
I
well.
love to write.
So we
I
should really
still,
have, yeah, we should
sige.
have an episode on that, and maybe we can guess someone our age. Actually, I think I already know who we can ask, to give like tips on
On
writing.
writing.
Ano
Yeah.
yan, sabi, gusto
But
ko
you know
yan.
what, Cathy, just pahabol lang.
Yeah.
Very recently, parang nauuso pala sa mga kabataan yung pagsusulat ng postcards. I don't know if
Oh,
you know that. Yeah.
oh,
Oo. Basta, people were starting to buy postcards and write. So,
mhm.
kung sino man sa inyo who are still doing this or starting to do this, continue yan. Because these are very therapeutic ways of expressing ourselves.
True,
Diba?
true.
Oo.
Yeah,
So, sana
speaking
we
of,
are able to, we will be able to promote this more in our programs. Writing letters.
let's bring back the lost art of letter writing. And speaking of writing, you can see below if you have issues or problems or whatever that you'd like your titas to comment on or to give you solicited yon, di ba? Solicited advice. You can write us at titatalksph@gmail.com. Okay, so
Yes.
that's titatalksph@gmail.com. Okay, so segue
Okay.
tayo. Speaking of writing, so uh, we are so engaged in ano nga ba, the storytelling or the writing, and I think it's a good topic for our first episode, di ba? How you and I discovered K-drama during this pandemic. Di ba medyo late in the game na tayo actually.
Ikaw ang nagbudol-budol sa akin dyan sa K-drama na yan. Kasalanan mo yan, Cathy.
O, di ba? Pero ngayon, mas marami ka nang napanood kesa sa akin.
Hindi naman. Because si Cathy, if you're her friend on Facebook, she posted several times, should I or should I not watch Chloe, mga ganyan. Hindi ko,
Yeah.
honestly, Cathy, nung sinusulat mo yun, parang, ano yung Chloe? I had to look it up
Oh,
sa Google, kung ano yung Chloe. Crash
mm,
landing on you. Oops. That
right.
segues to our next
Tama
topic.
yun. Yeah.
Oo.
What is it that ako, I mean, ikaw, tell me, what is it that you enjoy about K-drama? Like, if you like, cite three, what are the top three things that you enjoy about K-drama?
Well, the K-dramas that I watched, the first one I watched was Chloe, dahil nga sa'yo, di ba? And then everybody started, I think you influenced a lot of people to watch it. But ako, I watched it, sabi ko, sige, susubukan ko, no? And one thing I really liked about it is that the stories are very engaging.
Yes,
Yung,
agree.
very well woven. Yung pag storytelling, the storytelling devices that are being used are amazing. Kathy, I'm also a mass comm teacher. Okay,
Yes, yes.
so aside from doing my work, my production outfit, I'm also a mass comm teacher, and that is really that's what we try to teach our students, how to tell stories. Pero amazing nga talaga yung K-drama, because it's just able to flow, and the little details are just very well integrated, hindi nawawala. Okay, so that's one of them. Another is, syempre, ang gaganda nila tignan at ang gagwapo, you have to admit, di ba? Wow,
I can
alam
be.
mo, di ba, it's pinag-aaralan ko nga, sabi ko, parang walang maling anggulo. Although, hindi naman perfect talaga itsura nila, di ba? But then you see that it also has something to do, of course, with the way the cinematographer, the director angles the camera, no, directs the camera. But I think also because the actors that they use there, they are not just incidental, people who want to act.
Mhm.
These are men and women who have studied the art and the craft. So
Right.
even the way they connect with us, and hindi lang yung itsura ang maganda silang, ang galing nilang mag-connect. So that's another thing that I think I like about it. And then the third are all the values. Yung mga
Yes.
values na napupulot natin. Amazing. Yung bigla ka na lang maiiyak dahil maaalala mo may nangyari sa buhay mo na parang gano'n. Ikaw naman, Cathy, ikaw.
Yeah, yun. Speaking of values, no, you mentioned values. That is one thing I found nga interesting. Parang it's so wholesome. Well, at least, well, I've seen also now some K-dramas that are not that wholesome. But in general, di ba, parang kang nanonood ng Tagalog film from the 1950s. Di ba yung mga LVN, diba,
Oo.
kantahan sa
Oo.
ilalim ng puno, yung very chaste, and then the men are so like ideal and knight in shining armor. Di ba, there's that yung value of nawawala na kasi yun ngayon, di ba, Chary? I mean, admittedly, di ba, like before the pandemic, what you would see, di ba? And even, so the Koreans have, I think, parang value kasi yun sa kanila. So yeah, number one is I really like the values. Number two, I love the storytelling. Very, very, very engaging, di ba? Very yung,
Oo.
they don't dumb down the viewer, right? And then, mapapaisip ka talaga na parang, where did that come from? Di ba? Or, alam mo yun, kaya nga minsan, di ba, magmamarathon ka, mapupuyat-puyat ka talaga kasi kahit sabihin mo sa sarili mong, okay, one episode lang ako. Can't stop it. Di ba? Minsan may mga K-drama talaga na parang, 2 marathon or hanggang 3, di ba? I mean, I know people who like finish 16 episodes in 2 days, Of course, that's like what? Practically, yun na lang ang ginawa mo buong araw, di ba?
Oo. 8 hours a day. Oo.
Yeah, because it's like super engaging talaga, di ba? Addicting, maybe some in a sense, right? And then the third thing I would say I like is maganda yung character development. So I think that's still, as a writer kasi, di ba, parang I don't like to watch yung parang mahuhulaan ko na kung anong mangyayari sa susunod na episode, or alam ko na kung anong mangyayari sa ending nito. So I like very rich yung character development nila. Some of them, they really flesh out, di ba, the characters. And then, siguro a fourth point is I like their handling of certain issues, like yung mental health. The Koreans are so good at, presenting characters with mental health issues. Talagang fine-flesh out, at saka parang walang stigma. I mean, you're made to understand why this person is such a way, is like this and like that. So basically parang yon. So that's why I love watching K-drama, which is what we're gonna do here, in fact.
Yes.
Um
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
another very big feature of of this
yeah,
program. We will be
yeah.
talking about a lot of the things
K-drama,
that we watch.
yeah, what we watch, and yon, kung ano yung mga opinion natin, 'di ba, or how we can, well, we'll relate it to modern life, 'di ba? So So,
Oo.
dahil nga sabi mo nabudol kita sa Chloe. So, siguro dapat ang una natin pag-usapan is Crash Landing on You, 'di ba? Or Chloe,
Oo.
right? I mean,
Pero
so
Cathy, oo,
yeah.
yung Crash Landing on You, apparently, entry point siya ng maraming tao sa
Yes.
K-drama. How can you explain that? Ikaw, ano sa opinion mo? Paano nangyari yun na, kasi di ba they interviewed Sonia Jean who played
Yeah.
Chary.
Yeah.
And then, she's very, very, napaka-humble niya, no? Kasi all
Mhm.
over the world, people are watching K-drama and most of their entry point is Crash
Right.
Landing on You. And she said, I was not aware of that, or, I'm happy to hear that. So
Yeah.
obviously, it's something that was not really planned, diba?
Yes,
But the
yes. Well,
timing was right. The timing, Cathy.
perfect talaga yung timing. Yeah. Siguro nag-pandemic and all that. But no, it was already airing, I think, early
Yes.
part of this year, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Or was it
I think
last
it
year,
started December last year.
2019?
Something
Yes.
like that. Oo. Ay, tama ba ako? Oo.
Tama, tama. Mm-mm.
Because they
Tama
were shooting during Christmas eh. May mga pictures sila, syempre, tumitingin tayo mga behind the scenes. Oo.
Oh,
Ayan, sige. So, Crash Landing on You. Okay, Cathy, ikaw
well,
muna. Anong,
I think, maganda yung story to begin with, 'di ba? It's a universal theme, 'di ba, of love. And then yung characters, parang they both embody ideals, 'di ba? I mean si Captain Ri, 'di ba? Well, who doesn't want, a man like Captain Ri, right? Who's like super ideal, 'di ba? O ayan ang pagluto niya si Seri, 'di ba? Ayan ang um
ibili
si
niya ng kandila.
Binili niya
Bibili niya ng
kandila, 'di
kandila.
ba?
Oo.
Oo,
At,
nahanap niya, nase-save niya at every opportunity, 'di ba? Talagang it appeals to, you know.
inaalagaan niya. Kanina kasi before we went on air,
Yeah,
I was watching some episodes. Actually, twice ko na
right.
siya napanood, no? Ikaw
Ako
din
din,
pala.
ako din. Oo,
Tapos
oo.
may part doon, sabing ganon,
Oo.
nakilala niya si Mr. Ri as her bodyguard. Do you remember that part? They were in
Yeah.
Pyongyang hotel.
Yes, yes,
Tapos
yes.
this guy, yung ano niya, yung and then sabi niyang ganon, sabi ni Ri sa kanya, bakit yun ang pagpapakilala mo sa akin?
Oo,
Sabi niya,
oo, oo.
tapos nakita yung mga, pinoprotect niya siya. Sabi niya, hindi pa ganun naman talaga yung ginagawa mo. So it's so
Oo.
nakakakilig.
Nakakakilig talaga, nakakakilig, 'di ba? Na
Oo.
yun, parang ayan, we're showing some of the scenes, 'di ba? Ayan, yung
Oh my
napaka
gosh.
'di ba, napaka ganyan, o 'di ba yung mga tinginan na ganyan, no? Tapos mga panakaw na kiss. So it's like
Ah,
it's so refreshing, 'di ba?
I know.
We're like, oh my God, we're like swooning schoolgirls here, 'di ba? So
Swooning talaga.
swooning schoolgirls. So
You know,
yun.
I think with Crash Landing on You, the unexpected comes. It's
Yeah,
not your typical story, actually. It
it's not.
the feeling is very, yung kilig is something that you really feel so right about, pero yung kwento niya mismo kakaiba din, even for the Koreans, 'di ba?
Right.
Yung
Yeah. Yung division
isang
ng
taga,
North, yeah, yung Pyongyang North and South, 'di ba? That's why also it
oo,
appealed to a lot of Koreans, 'di ba? It was a global hit and it was a hit also in Korea, although medyo sabi nga nung, 'di ba, maraming mga North of Korea
controversial.
na controversial, but ang ganda, 'di ba? Ang daming magandang eksena doon. Merong eksena doon yung naalala mo yun, yung kumakain sila ng chicken, 'di ba? Tapos they were watching yung game,
Football. Ah.
diba? For me, parang that scene was like so poignant, di ba? Na for a
Correct.
moment, di ba, sports unified all of them. So, ang galing, di ba, how they wove
Exactly.
that into the story. Galing.
Yes, yes.
Ganda talaga.
Even just the characters, no, of Seri, who is
Yes.
very worldly, comes from a highly commercial, very commercialized yung kanyang mundo na pera, and then, business and, conflicts with her brothers, her family, and then ang ganda nung paglagay nila ng contrast ng characters. I think that's one thing I really appreciated with it. Yung makikita mo talaga, but when she went to the north, when she crash landed in the territory of the north, none of that mattered.
Right.
Wala her money that she had there. Could not buy her anything here. She was poor. Hindi ba nakakatawa yung pag-ibig sa kanya na wala siyang pera, and yet, Cathy, she was happy.
Yes.
Diba?
Parang she discovered a lot of things that she had taken for granted, diba? When her life was so busy and all that, diba? She learned how to, pati yung appetite niya, diba? Yung gana niya, kumakain na siya ng maayos, diba? Tapos yung mga friendships, diba? She made friendships with yung mga chismosa din sa village, diba? So, value of friendship and love, yung hindi mo matututunan. Parang actually, no? Para siyang precursor to pandemic, di ba? Para bang na-pandemic si Chary nung dinala siya sa North Korea, right?
Correct. At pagdating niya sa North Korea, she was humbled talaga. Just like probably what the pandemic is doing to all of us. She could not bring anything with her. At nasabihan pa siya, naalala mo yung scene na nalaman nila na fiancé niya si Captain Ree. Narinig niya yung mga chismosa na, oh, she's not that pretty. Oh my gosh, di ba? Parang, can you imagine? Sa South Korea, hinahabol-habol siya. I mean, she was like a star. Grabe. Yeah. Ngayon ko lang naisip yun, Ganda ng analogy mo.
Actually, ako din Ngayon ko lang, habang nag-uusap tayo, ngayon ko lang na-realize, sinasay ko, para pala siyang na-pandemic. Tama, di ba? So, your time in North Korea will teach you, di ba, a lot of things in the same way that our time now here in the pandemic makes it really clear what our priorities are, di ba? And, and it changes us in many ways, di ba?
Exactly. And then I don't know if it was intentional, the times that she had money, there were a few times that she was able to have money.
Yes.
Kung ano yung priority niya talaga, kung ano yung mga binili niya, yun lang talaga yung binilhan niya ng regalo si Ree. And you know what part I really also like there? I don't know if I'm sure you remember this part. Nung Christmas, diba, she spent it in the house of Ree. And then she had a Christmas tree. I don't know if she made that or she bought it like that. But it was a very, very simple tree. And then they had they cut to a memory of her not even celebrating Christmas in Seoul. She was in a meeting and then she said
that. Yeah.
Remember, ang galing. I like that. She said, "Why are you going home? You're not Christian?" Yung ganyan. Pero ngayon, andun siya. Ironic that she was in a communist country. She was celebrating it and she was so happy with the very little that she has.
Correct. Nabagot. So, ang galing, di ba, nung pagka-present. How she transformed, di ba, and change. Gusto ko, Chary, yung eksena na, di ba, bumalik na siya sa South. So, balik na siya. Chary's choice na siya. And then, ginawa niya ng di ba, ginawa niya ng skincare line o ginawa niya ng makeup, bawat
Ang galing nun. Yung mga chismosa, that is so nice. That's so amazing. Alam mo, Cathy, yung pag-input ng mga ganyan sa script, wow, ako tingin ko parang genius yung mga sumusulat
Di ba? Ang galing talaga.
Yeah, I mean, because those are not easy to bring in. Na parang seamless and still the story was moving forward. Walang naglalag. Hindi yung parang ano bang nangyayari? Parang tumaandar pa rin siya pero nalalagay nila itong mga nuances. Ang galing talaga. And of course, the love angle. Anong take mo? Anong take mo sa
dun sa
how the love developed?
Sa love angle, 'Di ba ang ganda kasi gradual, hindi yung nakakasanayan natin na ano, 'di ba, na what you call this, alam mo na yung instant kaagad, 'di ba?
Oo.
Instant na pagmamahalan. So, 'yun. Tsaka isa pa palang gusto ko diyan yung ano, yung soundtrack, 'di
Ay,
ba? Naalala mo ba
oo.
ang ano, naalala mo ba
Of
sound
course.
yung
Oo,
song
nasa Spotify yung soundtrack nila, ha?
Oo,
Oo.
ang ganda-ganda nung eksena
Oo.
yung 'di ba when he was like playing it in the really very beautiful na ano, alala mo yon yung
Oh,
very
yeah, yeah.
beautiful
Yung
area sa
nagpapiano siya. Alam mo, Cathy, I think
in the world. Mm-mm.
it's worth mentioning also
Yeah.
how fate, destiny, all are parang napansin ko sa mga K-drama, they're always present.
Yes.
Destiny plays a very important role, yung fate mo.
Right.
Yung
Yes.
naandun ka, remember, they met in the present day was this, but in the past, they were already, their paths were already crossing each other.
We have met
Remember,
several. Yeah.
yung nasa bridge siya, she was about
Yeah.
to commit suicide, no?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Parang nag-stop sa kanya yun pa lang, nire-rescue na siya ni
Oo.
Captain Reed, di ba? Can you
Yes.
take our picture? Nagulat siya, nagalit siya, di ba? Nandun na
Exactly.
nag-start. And
Oh.
destiny talaga is, and they would mention it time and again, fate, destiny.
Mm.
Sa akin, yung bang, may part doon, sabi niya, yung nga this cute guy na parang minamatch siya ng family niya. Remember? What's his
Ay,
name?
oo, si ano, mahina
That
mahina
cute
yung
guy.
pangalan. Oo, yeah.
Sabi niya ganon, sabi niya, oh, it must be destiny. Sabi ni Seri kay Captain Reed that we saw each other here. At tapos sabi niya, bakit ka masyadong naniniwala sa destiny? Di ba sabi niya ganon? So what if I say that it must be destiny na nahulog ka sa tree, nandun ako, tapos
Right.
nagkita ulit tayo sa bahay. Ang cute yung lambingan nila lumalabas din sa
Oo.
conversations
Ang ganda
nila.
talaga. Ganda how that,
Diba kasi?
how the theme of destiny ran through several of the subplots, 'di ba? Miski yung death ng brother niya, 'di ba? May element ng destiny
Ay,
doon, which was the watch, right? 'Di ba? So
yes.
really really amazing. Ang galing talaga ng storytelling. Yun lang ang masasabi ko talaga.
Oo.
Excellent ang storytelling.
What do you feel about yung there clamor na magkaroon daw ng season 2? Anong feeling mo tungkol dyan?
Parang hindi na lang yata ha. Kasi parang paano pa, 'di ba? Bibilib na ako sa kanila kung makakagawa pa sila ng magandang season 2 kasi parang bitin nga yung ending nun, 'di ba, na nasa Switzerland sila. Ang intindi ko doon, they just meet every year, 'di ba? Parang ganoon, and they spend time there for like several. So how will you do what would you do in a season 2, right? Where would they be living? Would they still be living separately? So parang it's the same as season 1, 'di ba? So parang for me, okay na yan. Unless maganda yung kwento, di ba? Tapusin na natin sa season 1.
Ako rin parang sa akin okay na yung season 1.
Di ba?
Okay na yon. Kasi baka mamaya the season 2, and I think that's also the sentiment na baka hindi mag-meet sa expectations ng mga tao na nanonood.
Alam mo, marami kasing yung pag nagsi-sequel ka, saka bumabaksak, di ba? So, tas mako-compare pa dun sa, maganda talaga yung season 1 o season 2. So, di gaya ng Star Wars yan, kaya mo hanggang kahit ilang episode, di ba? Because naman, it was really designed na, di ba, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, ahead of time, I think, isinulat na talaga yon, or yung Hunger Games, di ba, or, something like that, di ba, so
That's true, oo.
Yeah.
So, it, Crash Landing on You appealed to a lot of people, no?
Yes.
Because of those elements that were really, that were, how do you call this? That were designed. It was almost like a design. It was like an artwork. Diba? Even all the scenes, ang gaganda. I mean, even just the kimchi making eksena. So
Yes.
engaging. And of course, that's one of the things about K-drama. They also, hindi nga subconsciously consciously, they lure us into
Totoo yun.
becoming very interested with their
Their
culture.
culture and
Dati
their
alam mo,
food. And
their
their food.
food, their music. Alam mo,
Mapapatakbo ka sa sa Korean store, 'di ba? Ako, that was my experience. Sabi ko,
ganun,
makapunta ka ng Korean store at bumili ng, 'di ba, ramyun or bibili ka ng whatever yung mga kung ano yung napapanood mo,
soju,
'di
soju,
ba?
huwag mo kalimutan yung mga oo,
Mm.
ang galing nila. I think if you do some back research, the
Mm.
K-drama was also enhanced, or it was supported by the government during the
Yes.
time that they wanted, they wanted to, their economy was, they wanted to boost their economy. Kasi dumaan din sila sa mga pagsusubok. Alam naman natin yung, di ba?
Mm.
And so the government was really very supportive. And one of, it was part, I think, of a stimulus package
Yes.
na nasuportahan nila ang mga K-drama.
Right.
And
That's part of their, I think it's part of their strategy, di ba? Parang export nila yan soft exports, di ba? Their film, their skincare, their
their
food,
software, oo, yung mga IT nila, their
yes,
cars.
their cars.
Oo.
I mean, it's so different. Like, I lived in, I lived in Seoul, Korea for 2 years.
Can you, kwento naman, how was it back then? What year was
From,
that?
from 1991 to 1993. So that was like almost 30 years ago. And it was so different. I mean, wala pa yung ganyang, it's called Hallyu That's what they call it, di ba? It's like Korean wave. Yung bang talagang, it's their whole industry. So that was not in place yet at that time,
Do you
So,
remember watching mga soap operas at that time?
meron na silang mga, comedy, ganyan, on TV, and then meron ng konting drama, but not in the way that, that they do it now, right? Not in the way. Bago lang yan I think siguro mga 20 years ago, I would say. Well, hindi na rin bago, di ba?
Tama.
I think
That's
mga
right.
20 years ago. At talagang,
Oo.
ang unang-unang mahilig dyan sa K-drama, si classmate Meng, di ba? So, siya talaga ang reyna ng Meng Digia, if you're watching. We know you are the
Dapat
queen.
mag-guest natin siya.
Oo, di ba?
Oo, kasi seriously, because it's good to know, because iba ang perception ng mga, sabihin na natin, yung mga, na talaga, batikan na o sanay na manood.
Batikan na talaga. Yeah, may iba talagang batikan na, hahanga ka talaga sa body of knowledge na alam nila about Tayo bago lang tayo. Wala pa tayong 1 year, 'di ba? 7 months pa lang tayo sa K-drama, but it has provided so much joy. It's such a great stress buster. So, in fact, I prescribe it to some of my clients. I think they'll be helped by K-drama, and some of them also ganon, they've never watched it. So Chloe din ang aking introduction sa K-drama sa kanila, and they enjoy it. Some of them have watched it like several times. Yung iba hindi na lumipat sa ibang K-drama, but it was very purposeful for them at the time, at the time that I suggested that they watch it. So
yes, I have a friend, no? I won't tell you her name, but she's a professor in an exclusive school, no?
okay.
Yan, gustong-gusto niya ng K-drama. In fact, pag natapos na niya yung buong series, umpisa siya ulit. And she watches it, in different in different periods in her life. Kunyari, medyo mainit yung ulo niya, nasistress siya, or gusto lang niya mag-enjoy, yung ganyan. So, pinapanood niya. And, after 16 episodes, by the time you watch the first episode again, parang medyo nakalimutan mo. I mean, there's always something new that you see. Cathy, totoo yan.
That you see for the first time, I believe that. Although ako, in my case, I think, dahil nga marathon ko siya the first time, siguro minsan nakakatulugan ko yung certain scenes. So the second time when I watched it with my daughter, I'm like, parang, ngayon ko lang nakita yun or ngayon ko lang So sabi ni Pia sa akin, kala ko ba napanood mo na to? Kasi parang it's like I was seeing it for the first time. So, maybe nakatulugan ko. But, totoo yan, you know? Di
Oo.
nakakatawa.
I think she has watched it 7 times. Sorry ha, binisto na kita.
I can
Yeah,
believe
sabi,
that.
oo.
I can believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
parang yun lang yata yung pinapanood niya eh. And
Oo.
you know what? I think also, Cathy, the subtitles. Ano
Yes.
yan? Issue
Yeah.
yan sa ibang tao.
Right.
Nahirapan sila because of the subtitles. But I
Right.
think
Right.
that's also, it becomes the strength and the weakness. Bakit?
Mhm.
Weakness dahil yung mga ibang tao, they don't like to be, focused on reading. Tapos yung mata nila hindi parang they want to look at the actors, but they
Maka,
have to read the
yeah.
subtitles. But
Yeah.
you know what? I think also
Yeah.
it has become a strength to the K-drama because you
Mhm.
really focus. You really read it.
Yeah.
Hindi pwedeng yung
Right.
naglalaba
Right.
ka o nagpa-plancha ka, tapos nakabukas yung K-drama mo. Hindi kailangan, yun lang talaga yung ginagawa mo. Kundi,
Nakafocus ka talaga, di ba? Yung iba naman, ayaw. Kasi parang, ay, naku, napapagod na nakakabasa ng subtitles. Pero alam mo, after a while, masasanay ka na rin eh. Tsaka, di ba, ako personally, pag may magandang dialogue, talagang rewind, ano daw yon? O, di ba? Tapos talagang isusulat. I have like a file of, quotable quotes from
oh yeah, oo.
yeah, from K-dramas, di ba? Oy, pwede natin isali yan pala. That's a good idea. We can include that in
Yung mga quotable quotes.
so, lagay natin sa dulo. Para sa conversations with Cathy, merong quote, di ba? So, K-drama quote of the week, di ba?
That's right. We also really have to hand it to the translators. Kasi
Yes.
iba yung pag-translate from Korean to English eh. Hindi naman
yeah.
linear ang ano yan eh, 'di ba? Yung tingin ko it's very challenging. That's why 'di ba there are times they put the name of the translator kasi malaki talaga yung
Yes.
oo.
Totoo.
And the way they translate it's very poetic. Yung
Very
mga
poetic. Exactly.
very poetic.
Exactly. I agree. Totoo. Very poetic nga. May iba na rin akong K-drama na papanood. Parang, wala masyadong wala masyadong magandang dialogue, ganyan, di ba? So, minsan dinadaan sa something else, pero maganda pa rin yung story. But so I really like the mga K-drama na ang dami mong mapupulot, di ba, na quotes.
That's true.
Chloe had a lot, actually. In fact, remember, I wrote a whole column on, di ba, quotable quotes from Chloe. So I really enjoyed that. I think
Grabe, kinareer mo talaga yung Chloe na yon. Ang dami mo tuloy na transform ng mga tao. And women and men have enjoyed Chloe.
Yes.
Doon mo makikita talaga na maganda yung isang programa kung both men and women enjoy it.
Correct. Universal. Maraming asawa na nabudol, di ba? At nagsimula sa Chloe. I mean, men you would not even think. Like, I have friends, di ba? Mga male friends. Parang, nanonood. Parang, kaya din ako naengganyo, Chary, to watch it. Kasi I would see like my male friends, doctors, lawyers, ganyan, men, businessmen, top of their profession. Parang, siguro merong something ito talaga. Kasi si ganyan nanood, di ba? So, when I started watching it, okay, I get it now, di ba? I get it now. So, ang galing, di ba? That it cuts across genders. So,
that's true.
And a lot of couples have made that their bonding.
Yeah. We can talk about Chloe for hours talaga. There's just so much.
Yeah.
The time will not be enough to handle all the different, the different issues, elements, the strengths, the techniques that they've used. Wala pa tayo dun sa mga cinematography nila. Pero, syempre, kulang na yung oras natin, di ba?
Correct.
Kaya maybe we'll get back to Chloe again. Why not, di ba?
We'll talk about it. If you want us to talk about a certain aspect of Chloe, then write us, di ba? Our email is there, down there, you can see it. But we also have our email down there because we would like to encourage you to write us about, things you'd like us to comment about or to give you advice. Between Chary and me, we have, we have 100 years, di ba? Wisdom combined. Oh my God, that sounds so old. But But yes,
Grabe
that's
naman.
true.
Yung tita,
So,
tinimdim mo yung tita talaga. you
you
know,
have a century. Oy, di ba bakit? Glorify yun your titahood, right? Titahood is
right.
not something. Tinan mo nga si, di ba yung si McCoy Dubs? O, sikat na sikat siya ngayon. We should have McCoy Dubs on the show, one time. Let's do.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Oo.
let's invite McCoy Dubs on our show. It would be good
So,
to have him. Ang saya no, no? Ang saya.
oo, masaya yun.
Ang
Siguro
saya
ano,
nun.
Tita Cathy, before we
Yeah.
read our first
Yeah.
letter,
Yes.
maybe you can give a short synopsis or a short story of how you have become an advisor to people. Siguro
Wow.
para rin malaman ng mga listeners natin kung,
Oo nga.
you
Well,
know,
yeah. Okay. Nako, mahabang background storytelling. I-compress ko na lang.
oh,
Well, so, Chary, you were my friend when we were 11 years old, right? But I remember from the age of 10, talagang mahilig na ako sa psychology. I would read books like on schizophrenia, like Sybil, which was
oh,
a
si
book
Sibyl.
about schizophrenia. Yeah, and I Never Promised You a Rose Garden, which was also about schizophrenia. Basta interested talaga ako sa mental health. It's always, I mean, from
As
age 10,
early as that? As
that,
early
right?
as that?
Yeah, and even before that, it was Nancy Drew. So I liked
Oh,
solving mysteries, diba? So I guess I like mysteries of the mind. But of course, as you grow older, syempre, nung college tayo, pressure ng parents, diba? Gusto ko mang mag-psych or gusto ko man mag-com, wala daw pera doon, diba? So, business management ang ending, diba? But fast forward many years later, I went back to school and took my master's in family psychology and education, di ba? From our alma mater, Miriam College. So
yay.
I finished it. No. And then I took special courses in grief. My primary is really grief coaching, di ba? And grief management. But nag-branch out na meron ng anxiety, meron ng depression, and sometimes I work in tandem with psychiatrists. And one of them, of course, is your cousin Lisa. So, whom
Yes.
you should
Hi,
invite to
cousin.
the show, wow, one of these days, right?
Oo nga eh. Dami na
Yeah,
nating guest.
dami na nating guest, naka-line up. So, yun. So,
Yeah.
that's what I do now. Basically, it's my main thing is I see clients thrice a week.
Yes, yes.
And it's been very rewarding emotionally, diba, for me to be able to do that. So that's why I love that you suggested, that we
Yeah.
put this segment on
Letters. Yeah.
advice, diba? Letters, yeah, letters.
Yep.
So do the honors, Chary. You received the letter, so please
Sige.
do the honors of reading
Ako
it.
naman, Kathy, I just want to share that um, aside from the fact that, I really like listening to people, people I've, sometimes kahit hindi ko masyadong kilala, nag-open up sa akin. Yung ganun ba?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, hindi ko alam siguro because I think listening is something that I truly enjoy, and then, I also give some advices, but it's also my almost 30 years of experience as a teacher.
Recite.
I taught, yeah, no, I taught mass comm at the St. Paul University in Quezon City. And syempre, alam mo, quickly lang, no, and I'm sure a lot of teachers will be able to relate to this. Your job as a teacher and to teach them all the, all the knowledge that you have or all the information, I think that's just secondary to what your role is in their lives, which is to teach them about life, to teach
Yeah.
them about love, respect, about making decisions. A lot of young people, you know, they're always, they're put in a situation that we might think it's just very easy to get out of, but for them it's not. So, yun yung age na tinuturuan ko, mga 18 to 20, 17 to 21. Yung age na yan na maraming confused and all of that. So, yeah. So, malaking bagay din na I was able, well, I hope I was able to help a lot of them because after classes, they would ask for advices, and I'm always careful also because I'm not trained for it. like you were trained for it. But I'm not trained for it. But ako, ang ano ko lang palagi is I listen to them. Even
Yes.
if I don't give advice, I listen to them. And then I ask them, so what do you think? What do you feel like doing? What do you think is the best thing to do? And pag nakita ko naman na okay naman yung iniisip nila, and it's just a matter of, you know, um, supporting them, I tell them. Pero pag alam mo naman na mali, obvious na mali, then you tell them in a way, and they listen. I realize my students, they listen to me. Yeah, they listen to their teachers. They listen to people who they respect. I think, kailangan din kasi if you are giving an advice to somebody younger than you, whether it's your child or your student or your friend, kailangan i-respect mo rin yung kanilang iniisip. Huwag mo ipilit lang yung sayo. 'Di ba? Kasi kailangan makinig ka ng mabuti. Kailangan intindihin mo
Totoo,
lang
hindi.
sila. Oo, hindi yung alam mo,
Teachers have a very important role.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yeah, teachers have a very important role because you're like the second parent, di ba? So, lalo kung may mga conflicts sila sa bahay, di ba? And sometimes it happens, they're at odds with their parents. So, kung they feel that hindi nila mapuntahan yung magulang nila. So, therefore, the second, logical person, di ba, is you go to your teacher. So, it's important to have a good, healthy, open relationship with your teacher. So and I think you provide that for a lot of your students because I know they stay in touch with you, right? At saka ang sarap maging teacher, di ba? I mean, mahirap ang mahirap ang check ng papel, di ba? But
Mahirap.
everything else is like, I mean, I had 10 years of being a teacher. So I can say from experience. Diba, ikaw, 30 years, my gosh, diba, hats off to you.
On and off naman yan eh. Siguro mga 25 combined or 24, but still, oo. Iba-ibang generations yon. Hanggang ngayon, yung Gen Z. Pero I was teaching students who were older than me. My first batch, yeah, I wasn't telling them my age, pero some of them were older than me. Makikita mo rin yung difference ng iba't ibang generation. It's a big responsibility, Cathy. And kaya itong ginagawa natin is a big responsibility also.
Yes. So,
yes.
Diba, Lord help us sa ginagawa namin ni Chary on Tita Talks every week.
Yes, we will try our best to give. So, should we start the first?
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Chary, just go ahead and read the letter and we can share our thoughts after.
Sige, okay. I'll make this fast, no? My dear Tita Cathy and Tita Chary, I hope you are both doing well during this pandemic. As I know it is a time to reflect on things that are important to us. It is also a time to remember that which really matters and mattered the most. May hugot na ba agad ang second sentence ko? Well, here is my story and I hope that you can also give me some advices later on. Okay. Just call me Sarah, although that really isn't my real name. I am now 52 years old. Kapwa tita natin siya. No? And I live in the States. Filipino by heart, but I became a US citizen when I was 35 years old after marrying a wonderful military man whom I met in Guam, where I was a teacher many years ago. I will just call him Chris. Okay. After we got married, we settled down in Utah. Life was perfect, or so I thought. Wala na akong hihilingin pa. My life became so complete when he walked into it. He would travel with me to the Philippines once or twice a year even. He loved my family as I did his. He has a daughter from a previous marriage that sadly, it ended in a divorce. Matagal na siyang single when we met, single again when we met. So no hassle naman ang relationship until one day, just recently, in 2018, I received a shocking email from him while I was vacationing in Manila. He wanted to end it all. We went through challenges as I was devoting more and more time dito sa Pilipinas. I was taking care of my parents who were getting old and later on my father who got sick. I think I must have forgotten that my husband Chris also needed me by his side as he was going through his own obstacles in work and sometimes with his daughter. Napabayaan ko siya. I was a fool to think that he was invincible, na kaya niya lahat because I always thought he was like a Superman to me. It has been 2 years now and I'm still agonizing over the divorce that he filed. Wala akong magawa. He was insistent. Ang dami niyang pent-up feelings, or shall we say, later on, nag-implode siya. Nakakagulat talaga. He was so angry with me. Maraming accusations. Pati ang hindi namin pagkakaroon ng anak, nandoon sa listahan ng sama ng loob niya sa akin. It has been 2 years since we had our divorce kasi talagang pinilit niya, no? Pinilit niya na matuloy yung divorce. Ang feeling ko, ibinigay ko lang sa kanya para hindi na lumaki pa ang galit niya. There was no third party, by the way. But I still love him. I still love him, but my family and friends have begged me to let him go completely in my heart and in my mind because that's what he wanted. What will I do, titas? Always, Sarah.
Lungkot naman nun, sayang. You know, it's always sad
Sorry,
when...
I'm really sorry, no? Medyo nag-shift ang mood natin. Oo, ano yun?
Okay, it's always sad when a marriage ends, diba? But it's a reality. Sometimes sometimes it happens. And of course, well, 2 years, diba? Parang in grief pa si Sarah, diba? So Sarah, I'm sorry that things turned out that way, and I understand why you're still grieving, diba? Alam mo, Chary, yung mga clients ko na widows, di ba? I really tell them, and in a way, this is like a widowhood, right? Ano ka lang para ka lang, yan yung tinatawag nating balo sa buhay, di ba? Buhay yung hindi siya, still around, right? So, it's kind of harder, actually, when you think about it, but it usually, studies have shown that in cases of widowhood, minimum talaga yan, 2 years before you can parang get back into the course of your new life, di ba? I mean, lalo pa ngayon pandemic, di ba? So stuck siya wherever thank you for writing us and letting us know what your sentiments are. Siguro use this time to yan na nga, nagre-reflect nga siya kasi pandemya, di ba? But you cannot begin a new chapter, di ba, if you leave a few pages of the previous chapter open, di ba? So parang siguro panahon na nga para isara. I'm assuming that she's independent herself, right? I'm not sure from her letter if she's in Manila or she's in the US. So, and is she a teacher? Did I hear that right? She's a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes.
you're independent and you're our age, or she's younger, right? 52. You can always begin again, di ba, Chary? I mean, I always tell people, no matter what your age is, you can always start anew, di ba? Open a new chapter. So, find out what it will take for you to really close that,
Yes.
chapter. Siyempre, nandiyan naman talaga yung sakit eh. Hindi naman yan, I mean, loss yan eh, di ba? Loss yan, you shared many years together. So, he'll always be a part of your life. But, don't let that pining for him hold you down naman from starting anew. Diba? From starting
Yes.
Yun. So, yun ang
That's, oo. Ako, bukod, maganda yung sinabi mo, no? Maganda yung sinabi mo na start anew. This might be a good chance for you to begin again. Like, it's a reset button nga, di ba? Sabi nila. Ako, Cathy, what I will tell you, Sarah, and I think she's in the States. I think she wrote from the States. Sarah, you have to begin by forgiving yourself. Mukhang dun sa sulat niya, meron siyang dalamhati na napabayaan niya si Chris. Kasi perfect man niya si Chris, Superman niya. O, andyan lang palagi to support her. Nakalimutan niya na nagkakaroon din pala ng mga pinapagdaanan si Chris. So, you know what? I mean, nandiyan na, di ba? Huwag mo na lang din ipilit. Kasi, kumbaga, I know nag-let go ka na. Yung sinabi mo, may laman yung sinabi mo na yung friends at family mo have just asked you to let him go. Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, it was not really your own will, no? Parang, tapos pinagbigyan mo na lang din siya para hindi na humabak pa. But, you know what, Sarah? One way to begin is for you to forgive yourself. Patawarin mo na yung sarili mo. Ina-admit mo naman na nagkamali ka. And I'm sure if you got the chance to talk to him, you may have asked for, I don't know if you asked for apologies or what, pero that's the hard part, Cathy, di ba? Minsan, napatawad na tayo nung kabilang party, you know, asawa, pero yung sarili natin, hindi natin mapatawad yung sarili natin. So, and then I guess, it's hard to keep looking back at something. I mean, Sarah, lahat ng bagay nangyayari, may dahilan yan. And we also don't know what's going on in his mind, si Chris, di ba? Kasi ang lumalabas parang ikaw yung nagigilty about everything. But don't be too hard on yourself, Sarah. You have to remember, we always wish that life would be perfect, but there are times when things just happen. I mean, we know that during this pandemic, so many unexpected things have happened to us. So, forgive yourself, start anew, do things that make you happy, and maybe don't think about him so much anymore. Dali sabihan, ano?
Oo nga.
Pero, you have to also be, your own wellness, di ba?
Right.
Right, Cathy? Ano mga suggestions mo, what she could,
Yeah. I don't know if it's possible for her because we don't really know the exact circumstances and situation, di ba? Do you have your own house? Are you renting? Ganyan. Because for some people, if there's just too many memories, and it's been 2 years, right? There are just too many memories. Sometimes it will help you're moving forward if you like move to a different city, if that's an option for you, di ba? Hindi ka naman It's just that, to begin again, di ba? Sometimes you have to pull your roots and plant yourself, somewhere else that's new. I know that might be difficult kasi nga pandemic, di ba? Especially now. But something for you to think about moving forward. If employment is possible in another city, then, that's something that you can consider. Rearrange your house. If that was a home that you shared together, di ba? That's something practical that you can do. Redecorate your bedroom or, rearrange yung manood ka ng home edit.
K-drama. Akala ko K-drama.
Well, K-drama na rin. Pero home edit, pwede din. Marami kang makukuhang ideas doon. So, when you want to start something new, then, you have to change, diba, things. And in the process of reinvesting or, diba, rearranging or whatever, then you can, mapapansin mo na parang, hindi ko na siya masyadong iniisip, diba? And then, nakaano ka na, slowly you will notice that you have moved forward, diba? But I like what Chary said, forgive yourself. And forgiveness is not for the other person. It's really you do it more for yourself. And whatever your regrets are, take it as a lesson, diba? A lesson, a hard lesson learned, diba? So that, who knows? In the future, you may have another relationship in the future, then you take whatever lessons you learn from this relationship, diba? To improve on the next relationship you find yourself.
That's right. I have one last advice, no? You live in Utah. There are so many beautiful national parks there. Diba, sa Utah? Wow. And, why don't you take up an outdoor sport like hiking or biking or just walking, diba? Nature brings out so much, positivism and so much good energies around.
Yes.
So I think that's also one thing that you can do. Go out and, explore,
Mhm.
meet people, or if you don't want to meet people, just have a few friends with you, but just, spend time just enjoying things that you probably um were not able to do before, di ba? Oo. So,
Agree.
and then, yeah,
Yeah, time spent in nature is always very healing. So, lagi ko yan sinasabi. If you're a mountain person, go close to the mountains. If you're a water person, then you go close to the water. Utah, I know, has both. So, di ba, you're in the best place ever, Sarah, di ba?
oo nga.
Kung hindi niya kaya
Ganda-ganda.
umakyat ng bundok, di ba? Parang kami ni Chary, siya umakyat siya ng bundok, ako dito lang ako sa baba. So, doon na lang ako sa may tubig. So, you have a lot of choices, Sarah. Spend time in nature. It's very healing. Diba? If you're
Yes.
Catholic, Christian, find God in nature. Time
Right.
by yourself is also very important in the healing process. So,
Right. Yes.
yun.
So, yun. We hope that we were able to help you. You know,
Yes. Yes. And if
uh,
we have other people listening in, di ba, who find themselves in the same predicament of difficulty of, di ba, letting go of a love, of a love that is over and done, then sana may napulot kayong wisdom sa amin ni Tita Chary
oo.
in this show.
Yes.
And on that note, please write
Yes.
us if you want us to if you want our opinions or our advice, we welcome it. Diba? We welcome it.
Yes.
And
That's our
we'll be
email
here
address.
again next week. So, yes,
Okay.
Tita Talks
Tita
PH
Talks
at
PH at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
And
And so I think, yeah.
yes, and you can find us here. We'll have a new episode every Saturday. Yeah, every
Yeah.
Saturday.
At
So
Saturday.
this is our maiden show. Yeah, our maiden
Yes.
episode. So we'll see you again. We'll see you again next Saturday.
And you can
Sana,
also, Tita Cathy, they can also write an email just to give us feedback because this is our first episode. How
yes,
you like
yes,
it, how it can be improved,
right,
and
right.
any suggestions would really help us because we
Yeah,
want
what
this
you
show to be for you. We want you to enjoy it. We want you to learn from it. We want you to look forward to it.
exactly what
Okay.
you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear, who you'd like to see, kung kaya ng mga powers namin, di ba? What topics you'd like for us to discuss. So, please let us know. Okay?
All right. Okay.
So, Chary, thank you. And
Thank you,
we,
Cathy.
we will see each other again next
Very
Saturday.
soon. Yes. Next
Yeah,
Saturday.
until then, we hope you keep safe and you keep well.
Ingat kayo.
We're still in a pandemic. Don't forget
Keep
that,
safe,
di ba?
ha? Huwag lalabas kung hindi kailangan. Sa totoo lang.
Correct. Correct. Totoo yun. Whether you're young or you're old, if you don't have to, kung hindi essential, let's stay safe at home. Di ba?
Okay.
Okay. All right, Chary.
Alright.
See you.
Bye.
Okay.
See
See you guys.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.